Good morning, everybody. The video today is going to be a bit of an unstructured rant video. Not super positive, but there's been some things going on in Dungeons & Dragons Online that I just have to talk about. Night Revels is upon us, and we have the opportunity to earn some extremely cool cosmetics. There's a new horse, there's a new shield, fancy-looking bone cloak, and there's new items for level 32. Except there's not new items for level 32. Level 32 items are level 28 items. They don't have the proper stats on them, which means if you decide to buy them, you're buying old gear. Now, it's really not a good idea to make a video about a couple items that'll probably just get fixed in the next patch, but that's not what this video is about. This is about a trend that I've noticed happening in 2022 in which unfinished content, and I mean obviously unfinished content, is being pushed to release by Standing Stone Games. Now you have to understand, I play this game all the time, and I accept the fact that Dungeons & Dragons Online is a video game made by a very small studio. They don't have a big budget, they don't have a lot of people, and for the amount of content that they actually do end up pushing it out, it's pretty surprising. So for me, as a consumer, I accept that patches are going to come with bugs. Patches are going to come with unforeseen interactions and things that aren't going to work. However, the items having the wrong stats is not an unforeseen bug. It was so immediately obvious that I noticed it the second I looked at it. And I'm not sure how something like that would make it into the game. But the reason why I'm making this video is not because of one instance, it's because of multiple repeated instances. There's an issue as well with Night Revels where you're not gaining experience points when you're doing it in Legendary. The problem is not that you're not gaining experience when you do it in Legendary. Sure, maybe they didn't plan for that bug, except this is a bug that happened with the Crystal Cove event that came in September. There's no reason for the bugs in Crystal Cove to show up in Night Revels, which came later. Also, Crystal Cove had the same problems. Items that were updated for level 32 that didn't have the proper stats. And before that, we had the bank change. Many of you guys probably saw the bank has been changing. I am actually in love with these bank changes. I think they're awesome. But they came out clearly when they weren't done, and the game had to be taken down multiple times, and the game was down for 2 entire days because of a TR problem. People weren't able to TR for over a week. Very cool stuff. Oh, and let's not forget to mention that before that, we had Archetypes, and I love the Archetypes. I did a whole episode with Linabelle making a new archetype. I think it's a fantastic addition to the video game, and I really love the ideas that were presented. I think Dark Apostate, the idea of a Necro Cleric, is super cool. I love the idea of the Sacred Fist, and it's so fun to play, and Stormsinger just feels like a better bard. It's awesome. But when they previewed it, there were 3 previews, and on the last preview, people were asking me, oh, Strimtom, when do you think it's going to be out? And this was the 3rd week of August. And I said, oh, well, they're really cool, but there's a lot of bugs, and they're clearly not done. So I would expect mid to late September. Nope, end of August, boom, in comes the bug-filled trees. Why did they rush it? I have no idea. I don't know what this mysterious deadline was that they had to rush it incomplete, but it wasn't just rushed incomplete, it was rushed incomplete to the point where anybody that was on a cleric, rogue, or paladin had issues actually just doing any level ups and weren't able to level up for a short period of time. Then when that was fixed, there were issues with actual multiclassing and people weren't actually able to take levels of bard, paladin, or cleric if they were already of another class. Existing characters had tons of problems. And this is my problem. It's a worrying trend of things that have really big, very obvious bugs making it into the game because things are just coming out rushed. If Night Revels wasn't this week and instead was delayed till next week, I am certain that there would have been somebody in the office that would have been like, hey, wait a second, I think these items aren't done. Or somebody would have been like, hey, wait a second, did we fix that bug from Crystal Cove that we didn't fix for this one? Did we do that yet? Did we make it so it gives XP in items for level 37? I just feel like Standing Stone Games has been rushing the content out, and I don't know exactly why. It's very obvious to me that every single patch that's been happening recently since Isle of Dread has just needed an extra week. Oh, and speaking of Isle of Dread, on the preview server, we had the raid, Skeletons in the Closet, have a bug that caused the raid to be not completable. And of course, the game releases with that bug still in it. I am not saying that the developers don't know what they're doing or can't do their jobs. I know that many of them know what they're doing and can do their jobs. They're just pushing things out before it's ready. They just need to take the time to finish the content before they actually release it. So whether this is a management problem, whether there's some type of timing issue or scheduling where something has to go out on a certain day. But the problem is, I don't believe things have to go out on a certain day, because if things did have to go out on a certain day, well, wouldn't we get a schedule of some kind? Wouldn't there be a calendar for the year that said, oh yes, Night Revels, October 5th. And we would know that at the beginning of the year because there's a schedule. I think that they're just being a little bit too ambitious with some of their projects, and they're going out and trying to get things done faster than they're physically capable of doing. Now again, this isn't me saying that Standing Stone Games is making bad content. When the content comes out, it's pretty good. I love the Archetypes. Isle of Dread, smash hit. In fact, Isle of Dread is the perfect example. It didn't feel rushed. There were very few bugs that actually came with the expansion. There were obviously a couple. The whole thing where the Black Pearls were named as the basic currency so that people could trade them on the actual Shard Auction House and trick people and scam them into buying the wrong product. There was the T-Rexes not working and a couple other minor bugs. For the most part, it was pretty good on release with what actually came out. And even still, Tabaxi and Tabaxi Trailblazer also released with not too many bugs. There was a bug with the hit and damage going on with animal form, but outside of that, it seemed to go pretty well. So since Isle of Dread, I don't know what's been happening, but it feels like every patch has just been coming out a week ahead of schedule with not enough proofreading and not enough double checking. I don't think the Dungeons & Dragons Online community would be really upset if Night Revels had come out next week and maybe went a week after Halloween. No one's going to be upset that, oh, Night Revels is going a week after Halloween, it's destroying my aversion. Night Revels is not a Halloween event, it's the Night Revels event. Yes, it is tied to Halloween, but it's not like they have to turn it off the second that the week passes by. They can just leave it on for an extra week, give people a chance to get in last second. I don't see what the big problem is. So the main issue for me is that there are a lot of things that I think Standing Stone Games could do better, as most of us do, but a lot of it I'm willing to just kind of brush off to the wayside because, as I said, the product, for the most part, is pretty good. There's no other video game like Dungeons & Dragons Online that really scratches that itch for customizable characters. The way the dungeons are laid out is fantastic. I love the way you've got the Dungeon Master, the traps, the secrets, the different routes through different quests. So I'm not telling you that the content is bad. In fact, the content is pretty good. I just said that Night Revels has amazing cosmetics. I mean, have you seen that horse? It looks great. So I don't know what happened, but they could have just said, hey, we have these new cosmetics out. You can still get your festive augments. And then all of a sudden, boom, slam dunk. I feel like Night Revels would have been an immediate hit. Oh no, there's no level 32 Spectral Dagger. Oh, well, the level 32 Spectral Dagger is going to come out next year. Okay, great. Well, you know what? I can still get those cool horse. There's all the other different cosmetics. There's tons of new players that have started recently. I've had many people in my live stream that have told me about how, they're new, they've just begun, they're excited for Night Revels. What should I get? What should I get? They're looking for like the daggers, the other cool things. And the cosmetics are also great because you don't have to pay any money for them, and they look amazing. But for some reason, there was just a decision to add in content that is something that they weren't able to get done in the time. And it's not like this is a mistake. There wasn't enough time to get it done. If there was enough time to get it done, this wouldn't have happened, because this is something that you look at and you immediately see the first millisecond you load the thing. You look at the items and you go, oh, these numbers are wrong. So for me, I just hope that Standing Stone Games is able to reassess their priorities and make sure the content is done before they release it. Now, maybe this is just me displacing my anger over the fact that Cyberpunk 2077's company, CD Projekt Red, has announced that they're making a sequel to Cyberpunk 2077 when they still haven't finished the game, with multiple areas of the downtown core still being completely empty, with having only 5 quests in them compared to earlier areas of the game that have like 30, and I'm thinking, man, I really hate unfinished content, and then SSG releases unfinished content, and I'm just displacing my anger over to them. But at the end of the day, it's been a pattern of behavior, and this is the problem. It's been, first it was the Archetypes, and how everything was clearly not finished on Lemania, and it just went into the game without getting the time that it needed. And then it was the Bank, which was clearly not finished, and didn't get the time that it needed. And then it was Crystal Cove, which was missing major problems, like the fact that you couldn't interact with it above level 30, which, like, wow, who would have thought you needed to interact with that above level 30? It's not like level 32 is the new level cap that's been in the game for a while. And then moving beyond that, we have Night Revels with not only the same problems as Crystal Cove, but also these broken weapons. I hope that Standing Stone Games is able to kind of figure out what it is that's causing these problems, maybe reassess their structure. Again, I'm not asking for anyone to get publicly executed or something. It's a team effort. I just want them to figure out what's going on and why they're doing it, so that we as consumers don't have to deal with unfinished content obviously coming out. As I said, a weird interaction like the fact that Dark Apostate form couldn't be used while raging. Well, you're not likely to see a Dark Apostate raging. I didn't test it on the preview server, and I can imagine some other people didn't test it. So something like that getting fixed in the first patch, not a big deal. It's something that you wouldn't expect. It's a kind of an unforeseen interaction. But the recent more major bugs have not been unforeseen. They've been things that an extra week of eyes over would have fixed, and I don't know why they're rushing the content. So Standing Stone Games, if any of you are watching this isn't me saying, I don't have faith. I'm confused. I don't get it. And there are definitely some days, especially like on Wednesday when I logged in to check out the new stuff at Night Revels, I just felt like I was wasting my time. Why am I playing this video game when I know I should just wait 2 weeks when things are actually going to be done and just go play something else? And that's a feeling I really don't like having. I pretty much just wake up thinking I want to play DDO every day, and it sucks when the only thing that's stopping me from wanting to play DDO is just seeing unfinished content because it feels like the care isn't being put in, and even the Dungeons & Dragons Online community, in a lot of places, I know it's like delays are seen as horrible by video game communities and online communities, but Dungeons & Dragons Online is one of the most sedentary communities I've ever seen. These are people who, if anything new happens, you go check the forums, and everybody is in uproar, everybody hates it. Nobody that posts publicly about this game even likes new content coming to it. So the idea that they have to rush and push these things ahead of schedule and get everything done on some strict super fast timeline and then rush out content that isn't finished just feels silly to me. You're not CD Projekt Red, where they had to delay Cyberpunk by a month and then people lost their collective minds to then get a game that should have been delayed by 2 years. It's like, just take the extra week. Just finish the job, please, and then we can all have a good time. So, I don't know. Like I said, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this rant. I'm still playing DDO. I'm still going to have a good time because I am enjoying my Dark Apostate. I got a new Dark Apostate video coming out. Got a Razorclaw Shifter video coming out about the changes to Razorclaw Shifter. Got a Vanguard video coming out. So I got a whole bunch of stuff on the road. I'm excited to play the game, and I still like it, but this has just been a little bit too much for me, and it's frustrating, and it honestly makes me not want to play, which is very convenient that the new Diablo 2 Resurrected ladder season starts today, because that's when I'm going to be doing my live stream. So if you're bored and you don't want to play DDO, come check it out. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you for watching, and I will catch you next time. Bye-bye.